Hi, it's Gina, and I'm in Allego with my good friend, my sister, somebody who inspired me before I even came here. And I can't even tell you, Auma. I mean, you've been asking me to come to Sauti Kuu for so long, and I can't believe I waited this long because I got here and I am just beyond impressed. I had no idea that this is what you've been working on. Every time I see you, you've been talking about Sauti Kuu. And today I got here and I just can't believe what you've done. So I just want to start by saying how proud I am of you. And I'm just so glad to have you in my life and to have, what you've done and the impact that you've had on these young people that we've seen today. That is absolutely incredible. It's kind of an odd concept though to have, invested as much as you have in a recreation center. And I mean, I think it's great, but tell us why.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for coming. You're finally here. I really, really appreciate it. And I've done this the way I've done it. And you're right, most people pass here or they pass the center that we're now almost completing and they keep thinking, oh, it's a stadium, it's a university, it's a school. And I keep telling them, no, it's not. Actually, when I want to be really difficult, I tell them, ask the kids. Because really it's a space, it's a safe space for children, young people, their families, and in the long run, the community can come to, and actually without any pressure of having to do an exam, without the pressure of having to be accountable to somebody who's paying them a salary, without having the pressure of feeling they have to perform by force, be able to use their potential to improve their lives. Because the way we've done it so far has always been a way that the people themselves don't own it and don't participate enough, in my opinion. And the way I work, even in this little environment that we're in right now, is that we teach the children and young people, and in an extended way their families, that they are their future. They are responsible for what happens in their lives. That's why we start at 4 years old. A child who's 4 who knocks something down and it breaks and they look at you looking scared and worried they'll get in trouble knows right from wrong. And the minute you know right from wrong, you know you can take responsibility and make right.
And that makes them less dependent, right?
Exactly.
So Auma, you've done all this in how many years now? How long has it taken you?
Just the young people I started working with in 2009 under a tree, talking to them, finding out what their challenges are, what needs to happen, asking them to tell me what they needed, and getting to a space where we are now. We actually really started firming up and becoming a real foundation starting 2010, going into 2012, and by 2014 we knew we'd got the concept right. So really working the way we're working, we've been working like this since 2014.
And the center that we visited today, and that's going to be open in July, I mean, how did you manage to do that so quietly? Because, we haven't really heard of Sauti Kuu, in Kenya. We really haven't. I mean, if I didn't know you, I'd be like, okay, what? I would have no idea.
Yeah. In fact, most people don't know it. And I did this, maybe just as self-preservation. I have quite a big name. I have, my brother.
We're going to get to that.
Yes.
Name.
So because of that, I was always afraid that if I am too obvious, too conspicuous, people will be involved in my work for the wrong reasons. And also, it's just not in my nature. I don't really, I prefer to do things than to talk about them. And I feel I can do them, so I just did them. And I'm also the sort of person who, if nobody can tell me you can't do it, because I'll figure out a way to do it.
That.
So in terms of waiting and saying, oh, it can't be done because somebody says so, I just do it. And in order to be able to do it, I just needed to get on with it. And that's why it was so quiet, because many of the things I did, now that I've done it, now that the center exists, now that my program is running, now that the vision, the concept is working, people are like, oh yeah, actually quite a simple formula. When I was starting, it's very hard to explain it, and people were thinking, you can't do that, it's not going to work, people were challenging me. So I thought, well, okay, I'll have the conversation with you, but I'll get on with it. And that's exactly what I did. I got on with it. So that's why people didn't hear about it so much, because it's not something you can really flaunt, because I was creating it.
But where did you raise the money from to put it up?
Most of it, 99.9% I raised actually abroad. And part of the reason of doing this was because abroad it was easier to explain the concept, for one. Secondly, I needed a lot of money. As you can see, the center is not cheap.
Incredible.
And I felt that if I could raise my funds abroad and have the conversations with my donors, my funders, in a way that they understood the concept and the vision and did not restrict me, I would get more done quicker. So most of the funding I got is from people who I've talked to, I've networked a lot, that's why I'm really rarely in the country, and who I've been able to explain my vision in such a way that they gave me the freedom to get on with it. I didn't look for restricted funds. In fact, the whole time I've worked only very, very seldom with restricted funding, because I always say when you work with people, it's like herding cats. You can't guarantee that you're going to get the results you want. True. So I didn't want anybody to put their money on me if they were expecting a particular result, because I could never guarantee that result. So that's why the funding has been very...
It's people that have had just faith in your vision.
Yes. In fact, this whole program has been built on faith. Wow. I can really say that.
That's incredible.
People who believe in me,
that's
who have made it possible.
But now that it's where it's at, it's now time for Kenyans and Africans, because it's a model, I think, that should be replicated right across the continent. It's now time for Africa to actually pick it up
and participate
and move on with it, right? I mean, you've brought it this far.
Yes.
So what can other Africans do to support you in moving it to the next level?
I think one of the things I have to say also about the reason why I didn't look for monetary support from Africans or from the continent is because I know the burden of the African who is the chosen one, who has been educated, who's got a good job. He has at least 10 other people he's supporting because he's looking after his extended family. And I'm very conscious of that because I have it within my own family. So I knew that the burden of the financial starting of this project of mine was not going to be put on the shoulders of my African brothers and sisters who already have such a heavy load. In fact, because the Europeans ask me, how much funding are you getting from the continent? Who is helping you there? And I say, we have enough. We're the most charitable people in the whole world. So I don't want to come with this as an extra burden because I know I can get it elsewhere. I know that I can source the funds from people who are willing to support me, who don't have the problem of extended families, who they have to put through school, help with medical and all that. So that was another reason why I didn't concentrate my funding on the continent. Now, what I'm offering really, and what I want to happen now in the participation of Africans, the different countries on the continent, is that they come on board because, as Gina, you're saying, this is a model that is going to be, my vision is to replicate this at least 5 times in Kenya and at least in every country on the continent. And what I'm telling, when I'm appealing for support, and it's not even so much support as participation, because what I'm calling it is, or what I'm asking is, what is your legacy? What have you given to your community? What do you want to be remembered for in terms of giving forward within your community on your continent? And most people will be like, okay, I'm supporting my brother, sister, brother, whatever, my nieces and nephews, but really impacting. Where can you impact with what you have to give? And that's where I'm offering my fellow Kenyans, Africans, the continent, to come on board and make my legacy part of theirs. I've done the dirty work. I've done putting it together.
You've done the heavy lifting.
I've done the heavy lifting, and I did it. I loved doing it because that's who I am. You know, crazy me.
I could tell all the years.
I'm able to do that, and it was what I needed to do, and I was driven to do it. And I actually didn't need help in terms of come and do the vision for me because I had it. We probably would have fallen out if you had come in on board sooner, right? But at this stage now, I'm offering it to you as part of your legacy. Come and be able to make this pilot work so we can replicate in your backyard. Because actually most of the Kenyans and even Africans who have come here and visited this have said to me, when are we going to start it at mine?
Wow. No, it's absolutely impressive. Yeah. But you talked a little bit earlier about the Obama name, and I don't think we can escape, you carrying that name. And how has it impacted, positively, negatively? How has it impacted your vision for what we've seen today?
What my name, the Obama name, has done for Sauti Kuu, and by the way, Sauti Kuu is powerful voices. Yes. That's the meaning of the foundation. Powerful voices. The young people should have powerful voices. And what it's done for me is that it's never been negative. That I have to always say, because people say, oh, it's so hard for you. And I say, no, it's not hard for me. I'm blessed because with my name, the love that my brother gets from the whole world, it has also carried me forward. So I've always had to be very cautious with how I basically use the name. And that's why I've been so quiet. That's why I've been so low key, because I always have to maneuver the space and figure out how is this going to work for me in the long term. If I had grabbed every opportunity that came to me because I'm an Obama, by now probably people wouldn't be interested in me anymore, or I wouldn't have created this vision. It would have been something completely different that I didn't own. So I've kept it very low key initially, but what it has done for me, it has opened doors for me unbelievably. I have met the most incredible people who at some point I used to always think, oh, they're right up there, they're so different. But people are basically just people, and many people are very, very good-hearted, and they've been very supportive. What it's also done for me is that it has taught me to take responsibility for a very big name, and also it's humbled me. Because I go through a door and people are interested in me. Even now, people will be interested in working with me in the foundation and all, might be thinking, oh, because it's an Obama thing. So I have to prove myself every time.
Yeah.
I go through the door as Auma Obama, but I want to come out of there with the name most in their mind, Auma. The name that they pronounce with the biggest strength and power is Auma and not Obama. So it's kind of a balancing act for me. Always has been, but definitely a blessing.
But I think, as you said, you've encountered so much love along the way and so much. But I think it's also the love that your brother has globally, which is just amazing. I mean, he is so dignified and just has, just almost has the boy next door kind of look, even though he was the president of the United States. I mean, he's just the most amazing guy. I'm sure he is absolutely delighted and so proud of you with everything that you've done. And so, I am excited to walk with you on this journey to try and get more Africans involved and to try and, for us as Africans and as philanthropists on this continent to actually get involved in projects that will be our legacy projects. So
and
as
that
much
we
as
can replica.
Exactly, and that we can, replica in our backyards, because what we've seen today, and I know the team that I've come with today will agree, it's just, it's so important for children to have this outlet.
Yeah.
It's so important that kids can come and dance and play basketball and play football and read and all the things that you're doing for them. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, I'm excited to see, the work that Giants of Africa are going to do by putting up your basketball arena and, have the kids play basketball, and you've got the football pitch and you've got the resource center. And so
we've got the vocational center with partners from companies in Germany, and we're also going to partner here locally with the different companies to try and work with the kids around vocational training, because that's important. And even just talking about my brother, he is a great support in a very quiet, silent way. He was not able to do very much, like he told the Kenyans when he came here, very restricted. And for me, in a way, it was a big challenge, but also a good challenge, because it taught me to stand on my own 2 feet. So, moving forward, it's really, really exciting, because there's so many opportunities, so many openings. And what I can say is, so far, I got this far. I got here, and we're in the rural area. And, I always tell the kids, why do you need to go to Nairobi? You've got Sauti Kuu.
Well, I think it's time that Sauti Kuu, got out of being the best kept secret, because it is absolutely, it's a model that really, really I am so excited about, and I can't wait to talk about it more, and I can't wait for it to be opened, and I can't wait for it to be replicated in another African country. So, I'm just excited to see which country is going to pick that up and run.
So everybody's got to support us, be involved, and, welcome, come to our opening.
We're going to come knocking on so many doors, and because we just want people to collaborate. And so, Auma, thank you so much for having us today. Thank you for being such a great host, and thank you for involving us and the kids. We are super excited.
And thank you for supporting us. What would I do without this kind of support? I can do my bit, but I can't do it all alone, and I'm learning that more and more. So my family's got to grow, and I mean, you've been in my family anyway for ages and ages. So now we've got to recruit a few more people to join the family.
But we're going to walk. We're going to walk this journey with you, and so I'm excited, and I'm excited for the kids, because these are the future leaders. Exactly. You're creating the future leaders. So thank you very much.